Good evening, gentle listeners. Just before we get started today, I would like to say support Canadian independent wrestling as always, and I have a show for you, an event, a place to take the family and kids. Yes, it is Pro Wrestling Ontario returning April the 30th with Redemption at their new home, the Green Door Studios in Hamilton, Ontario. This will be headlined by Justin Sane and Alessandro Del Bruno for the Openweight Championship. Oh yes, indeed. You'll be able to pick up your tickets by heading over to prowrestlingontario.ca, where the tickets will start at $25, $30 if you want to get in the front row, and the first bell is at 7 p.m., so collect your tickets. I can't say enough good things about this independent wrestling show. Also on the card, in fact, is Tarek taking on my brother, John Greed, in wrestling action. So, yeah, gonna be an exciting event. Pro Wrestling Ontario presenting Redemption. That is April the 30th at 7 p.m. Get your tickets now. On with the show. Great. The Colossal Tussle Podcast, Episode 7. After listening to this, you're closer to heaven. Woo!
God, stop looking at me when you do these things.
Yes, it is I. It is I, KJ Johnson, the master and the ruler of the world as far as I'm concerned. And then, to my left is the turncoat himself. Yeah. The Vince Russo protege. The swerve master himself.
Just John.
Just John. How's it going, Just John?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
We're back with another episode.
Yep. We're fucking doing this.
We've done it again. This is a big one.
We gotta stop being surprised at the fact that we just show up.
It's a monumental occasion when we show up, all right? We never know when it's going to happen again. So we take our blessings. So, yes, you are tuning in to another episode. Thank you very much for joining us. We have a phenomenal show. I am so fucking excited. Oh. I am so excited because we have the Survivor Series 1998 review that we're going to be getting into a little bit later on. But first and foremost...
Oh, fuck.
First and foremost, scraping by the skin of my teeth, I have once again been victorious in predictions.
I actually thought I was going to win this one by a landslide.
So did I. So did I. A lot of things happened on that WrestleMania. 2 nights of WrestleMania 38. A lot of people are saying this is one of the best WrestleManias collectively that there has ever been. I'm assuming that that's recency bias, and that will slowly begin to tear itself away.
No, I think entertainment-wise, it's going to be up there. It's going to be like remembered for a long time. I think once people actually get down to the matches, I think then they'll kind of go back to normal and be like, well, maybe it wasn't that.
It was a fine WrestleMania. I would go as far as to say it was good. Bits of it were great. The only thing that put me overboard for predictions was the bonus rounds. Was the bonus questions. The bonus questions is what did it. If we were doing the bare bones, if this was a catch-as-catch-can prediction, then you would have gotten me on the holds.
You would have been ahead on points. Seth Rollins prediction fucked me up.
Yep.
The Vince McMahon stuff.
Yep.
The Austin.
Yeah.
So I was not expecting them to go this hard.
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild. So, I mean, if you haven't watched it, then you've also not listening to this podcast. So,
I'm pretty sure everyone that's listening to this has watched it, or at least parts of it.
Yeah, but we're going to go through it for a little bit. We're going to give our viewpoints and what we liked, the matches of the night for us. I think matches of the weekend would be pretty good.
So it's not our typical reviews. This is just the speed run.
Yeah, this ain't blow by blow.
Yeah.
We've got shit to do.
So on night one, the Usos beat Nakamura and Boogs, but there was a botch, so I'm not sure if that was the original finish. Boogs went to deadlift both Usos. His knee gave out, couldn't continue. So I think they had to just keep the belts on the Usos, because I did think they were gonna drop it to Shinsuke and
seemed
Boogs.
Like the right time to do so, but I think
exactly they came out with the entrance and all that. So,
but Boogs did get injured off of that one, so that was unfortunate.
Drew McIntyre beat Happy Corbin. Shocker to everyone in attendance.
Yes, we knew. Yeah. Although, big moment of Drew McIntyre kicking out of the end of days, which apparently no one has done.
No one has ever
and
done.
That is actually a thing. So
I hate how many things Baron Corbin had coming into this that no one knew about. Like, we didn't know about the winning streak till like a couple weeks before WrestleMania, and then the end of days. Well, at least I didn't know about it till like it was happening, and people were like, "Oh my god, he kicked out!" And I was like, "What's
the big deal?
Yeah,
doesn't everybody kick out of finishes now?"
And then when you start looking back at it, you're like, "Oh yeah, no one has kicked out." So that was interesting. The Miz and Logan Paul beat the Mysterios.
Yes.
With the Miz then double crossing Logan Paul.
Yeah.
For reasons.
I found that ridiculous, but I will say that Logan Paul put in one hell of a performance.
Yeah, he's like, I know him and his brother are doing the boxing thing, but he's like born for the squared circle.
Yeah, seems naturally gifted.
Yep.
So you know, as much of a idiot as he is,
I think the idiot part makes it easier for him to adapt into like that heel persona.
Yeah. So they're gonna make him a babyface. Makes perfect sense to me.
Pretty sure he's gonna get cheered.
Yeah.
Bianca beat Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title.
Phenomenal match.
Yes.
Phenomenal. And Becky kicked her right square in the fucking eye. We were at the house show. So people are saying that, that was intentional. No, it's not. Because we were at the house show and we watched her do the Molly go round. Because that's what it is. It's the Molly go round. She lands ass first on the opponent. That's what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, and that event was like 5 days away from us, so it's like we
watched that happen. So we know what it was supposed to be, but instead she got kicked right in the mush.
But a phenomenal match, nonetheless. Then Cody Rhodes surprise entrance to face Seth Rollins, which was a really, really great match for me. At least I enjoyed that whole match. Charlotte Flair beats Rhonda. Again, I told you guys last podcast.
You did.
Their chemistry's terrible. I don't know why Vince wants to see this match, but he fucking finally got it. So hopefully we never see this shit.
It was an abomination of a match.
I told you guys.
It was miserable.
Their chemistry is disgusting together, and they somehow still want to put them together.
They still did it.
Yeah. And then main event, Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens. I thought it was just gonna be regular stunner fest, but he had a match. Hardcore match.
He did.
In the brawling in the stands and everything.
Suplexes, backdrops on concrete.
Bumps. Yep.
Yeah. Austin, that was so much batshit crazy fun. It truly was. And like that at the night one, I was like, all right, that's your batshit crazy fun out of the way. Right.
And then Owens gets arrested for talking shit. I didn't know that was a crime, but if you're ever in the Dallas area, do not insult it because they can throw you in jail.
Don't mess with Texas.
And then night 2, RK Bro defeats the Street Profits and Alpha Academy.
Yes.
A lot of people thought this was going to be when Orton turns on Riddle. But
no.
I think they're gonna keep this going as long as Randy Orton's having fun.
I think so. Yeah. He's it's in for a long build. I would like to see it go SummerSlam. I would like to see it go even longer than that. Actually.
Yeah. No, until Randy is like, I want to take a break or something.
Yeah.
This is gonna keep going.
Absolutely.
So and I'm not mad at it at all. I'm loving all this.
They are doing good. Mm-hmm. They are doing good.
And the tag division right now, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Especially now since there's never been that brand loyalty bullshit, but now even less. So now you're adding the Usos into that whole thing. So amazing stuff in the tag division right now. Bobby Lashley defeats Almas.
Legitimately, that was a surprise for me.
Really?
It was. I picked Almas. I did. And I was like, surely, like, the Giant is going to continue to beat. No, just flat out just lost.
I did not watch this match.
Yeah.
I went to make food.
That's fair. That's fair. You didn't miss much.
Johnny Knoxville defeated Sami Zayn in one of the craziest things I've ever fucking
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. It should have been for the IC title.
Sami got body slammed by Wee Man. Yeah. It was a fucking...
Got attacked by fireworks. Got slapped in the face with a giant hand.
Just all bash the end spot where he got trapped by a giant mousetrap. Just fucking...
Went through a table full of mousetraps.
Bunch of lunatics out there.
Dude, it was wonderful. Those two, like, okay, it was silly, and most, like, wrestling purists are going to be like, Sami deserves better, yada, yada, yada. They were so clearly having so much fun.
This was amazing fun.
Amazing.
Like, again, everyone, we love our good old-fashioned wrestling, but, we can't take it that serious. Every now and then we gotta let loose and have a midget, body slam a professional wrestler.
Exactly. Yes. And I mean, Sami says that that's one of like his favorite matches ever.
That was a very fun match.
And
that was like, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it, but like if it comes, oh my god,
I really would. I would do it
if I'm watching the network and it comes on. I wouldn't switch the channel. I'll stay and watch it. Then Sasha Banks and Naomi, who had a really cool entrance, beat Carmella and Queen Zelina, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, Natalya and Shayna Baszler.
Absolutely.
In what was a match.
It was a match where the titles changed hands. Yep. You were right about Corey Graves and Carmella wanting to have relations on TV.
Listen.
Okay.
Stuff happened. Then we got Edge versus AJ Styles. Well, Edge defeated AJ Styles in a singles match. Pretty decent match. Sheamus and Ridge Holland defeated the New Day. This was everyone's kind of like little sour spot of the show. Yeah. Well,
because it got cut from night one. It was supposed to be on night one.
Yeah, and it was a Biggie tribute. Thing that they were doing, and they lost a minute.
Squashed. Is what happened.
Yeah,
which is my god. Yeah, very interesting.
But they made up for it. Pat McAfee.
McAfee. Pat McAfee.
I don't know how to say white people's names. He defeated Austin Theory, which then led to McMahon versus Pat, which then led to Austin versus McMahon. It was just this alone made WrestleMania worth watching. Yeah. Just this alone.
Yeah, like this was more wild than Kevin Owens in Austin.
This was wilder than Sami Zayn and fucking...
Yeah, like this was nuts. So to break it down, we had the McAfee and Austin Theory that had a good match. Better than it probably had any right to be.
Yeah, a lot of people...
Very good.
A lot of the people who didn't watch Pat in NXT versus Adam Cole were very surprised that he could do any of those things. Yeah,
he did a fantastic job and beat Theory, which... My heart broke there, but whatever. But then Vince McMahon not only gets into the ring, but has a wrestling match at 74 years of age. And not only has a wrestling match, he has a squash match McAfee got no offense whatsoever.
Clothesline pat to hell.
Yeah, kicked a football into his ribs and just got the pin. And so McAfee's down.
Yep.
Vince is, cheering on his new son in theory. And then, good God, here comes Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. And stuns Austin Theory to New Hemisphere.
One of the best sells for the stunner ever.
Oh my God, just so crazy. And then we had the best.
Oh my
and then
God.
we had the absolute worst taking of the Stone Cold Stunner.
Like, Vince has taken bad stunners, but this one, you can't even call it a stunner.
It was the piece de resistance.
Holy shit.
On this absolutely insane bonkers segment.
Like, so Stone Cold kicks Vince, and he couldn't even grab the head because Vince just stumbles backwards.
Yeah, Vince collapses. Austin tries to get him. Vince stumbles back into the ropes. Vince gets him, but like as he tries to stun her, Vince just kind of like sandbags it and just collapses in himself. And Austin can't help from laughing at the whole thing. And, oh my God.
And then he gives a stunner to Pat that I also liked as well.
Yeah.
Because he hits him and then he does the fountain of beer. Fucking pouring backwards.
Thing. Yeah, for some reason, Byron Saxton comes in. He gets a stunner.
Well, that was in night one.
Oh, that was night one. Excuse me.
Yeah, that was
it's
night one.
all being so jumbled in my
There's
brain.
so many stunners.
I feel like so much happened. This was so Austin show. It's crazy.
Oh man.
And
then so we had to stop having fun for a while because Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Roman wins in what honestly was a pretty boring match.
It was.
Like, usually Brock Lesnar's whole spot fest is good when it's a big pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But they just didn't click. The audience, I'm not sure if they were tired from what
they might have been.
But the people weren't in it.
No.
It was a mess. But Roman Reigns won. He's double champ now.
Yeah.
And time to see what they do with that.
It is what it is, but I mean, I've been over Brock Lesnar's shtick for a very long time, even with the face turn, which has been admittedly very brilliant for him.
Yeah.
The bell still has to ring, and that's a problem. But, I think they kind of rested on their laurels that they were building this as the biggest match of all time, so they were hoping that the buzz of that was going to carry through.
And it's like I told you when I texted you too. Like, I feel like this was like the WrestleMania that Vince kind of wanted to book.
Yes,
because you got Charlotte versus Rhonda.
Oh yeah,
you got Brock versus Roman. Like, you had a whole bunch of celebrities.
Yeah, Undertaker
was there. Stone Cold was giving out stunners left and right.
Vince gets a win.
Yeah, so this felt like he was like, the last couple of years we've given you guys what you women main eventing, all that. This year is my year, motherfucker. So,
like, he can honestly, I'm quite sure he can die happy.
Yeah, no.
Like, he's done it. He's finished what he's needed to do.
He was probably rock hard that entire 2 days.
Oh my God. Like, this is his baby. And he got to finally
Sasha
do
came
it.
out in a fucking Lambo, so yeah, I feel like this was like his little, like, I'm just gonna do what I want to do type of thing.
Yes,
but yeah, overall, decent pay-per-view.
Yeah,
decent pay-per-view.
Yeah, I found night 2 to be much more entertaining than night 1.
Oh, far much.
Yeah, and I had a great time with night 2. I had a good time with night 1. And the fun with Austin Owens, the great match between Becky and Belair.
Yeah, you got Cody
Seth. Cody coming back. Yeah. So a lot of good things happening on both nights. It is definitely a memorable WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
That you cannot deny. It was good stuff,
Yeah.
I want to give a special, I think we should talk about it, especially as we are going to be diving into the Attitude Era. A special mention going to Triple H.
Oh yeah.
Yes, who started off night number 2 with his boots in the ring and giving an official kind of symbolic is the better word for it of retirement due to his health scare that he had and his cardiac event. And this one felt a little bit more meaningful just because like with wrestlers they really don't retire, but I feel like with Triple H, like with all the health things that he's been going through, this does seem like this is it, especially since his role backstage is kind of growing and all that too. I think that's the big thing about this one is like, you know, the whole wrestling retirement thing is a farce, is a shame.
Yeah, no one does. No one retires.
But it's different because those other guys, they went away and did nothing. So it's like they didn't have like a backup thing where they're like a road agent or something. No, they started just doing interviews in hotel rooms. It's not quite the same.
Shooting on stuff that happened 30 years ago.
So with Triple H, though, he's got a whole entire like promotion he can go back to, and he's one of the big things.
He has no need to run the indies. Take small bookings.
Exactly. Like so I think with him going in a cardiac event and all that stuff, you know, he's in a good place where he can go. And I mean, he's had a hell of a career.
Oh yeah,
a hell of a career. And let's talk about Triple H. Like, how did you feel about Triple H when you were getting into wrestling? Because he was all over the fucking television.
Well, the funny thing with me and Triple H, I didn't know because when we were kids, you know, internet wasn't a thing. So like, unless you were really, really into like getting the dirt sheets and all that stuff, you didn't really know what was going on. So when I was growing up watching wrestling, I didn't know people hated Triple H that much until like I grew up and like every time he would be mentioned, people would like hate on him. And I'm like, I love this guy. Like I love Triple H. Like his feud with Randy Orton is still like one of my favorite feuds of all time. But yeah, I didn't know how much people like not hated him, but kind of were annoyed by him at times. Yeah. Until like I grew up and like went on Twitter and people like almost every time were like, oh, he wasn't that big of a deal and you know he's only there because of Steph and blah 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 blah. Yeah. I didn't know none of that. So for me, I only have fond memories of him, which is kind of rare, especially like with social media and all this shit now. Yeah, absolutely. I'm exactly the same as you, really, because I loved Evolution. I loved the Reign of Terror. I even love the Authority. Actually, like everything he's done. You didn't like it? No, the Authority was kind of hit and miss for me. I like the first like couple years of it. Not too bad. But it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Exactly. But it was something like Triple H himself. It is a complete disservice to say he's gotten where he is because of Stephanie and married. A complete disservice. I think that's just some shit people say to sound cool. Exactly. And whatever. It's just what haters want to say. Because Triple H was an extraordinary wrestler, like especially storytelling wise, and just he's not flashy. He's not the flashy guy, but he is definitely like one of the best in the ring to ever do it and tell a story. And he's had amazing, amazing matches. And not only has he had amazing, amazing matches, but in doing so has created a lot more talent than people suggest that he's buried. That's the whole golden shovel thing. I didn't know that was a thing till, you know, we grew up and internet became a thing. I don't know how quite true that actually is. Like, yes, RVD, Booker T, Kane, during his reign, probably at any point in time, one of those people could have been the world champion. Yes. But let's also take a look and step back. RVD, Booker T, and Kane didn't do too bad anyway. But let's look at the people that he did create. Randy Orton, Batista, John Cena, Seth Rollins in later years, Roman Reigns in later years. All of NXT. He's built that baby, that huge crop of stars. He has made a lot more people than people think. But the thing, like, that's the thing. No one's ever going to look at the good shit that you did in wrestling.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Not until you have a heart attack.
Because same thing with Cody when Cody was in AEW. Even though he would lose a shit ton, you know, he won one feud.
He won one guy.
Maybe he shouldn't have won, but still, it was like one guy that he won, and they were bringing out the shovel memes. And it's like, come on, like, god damn, like he's lost like every feud he was in. Wins one, and then it's like, oh, fuck this son
of a bitch.
Man went through a flaming table for us, and we booed him while he was burning. Oh my god! But no, I loved Triple H. His match with Taker.
Yes.
You know, all his matches with Taker were fucking legendary to me.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about Triple H, man.
Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, The Rock.
Yep.
The list goes on and on.
And even if you're like a wrestling purist, like you can go back to his Hunter Helms.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
There you go. You can even go back to those days, and he was still putting on really good matches. So it's like he's been great in every era that he's competed on. Because even in the PG era, you know, the ruthless aggression, just put him anywhere, and he'll make something.
And he's done very well. Yes. So it's sad to see that Triple H had to kind of end abruptly, but
when you remember that his last match was that Saudi match, it's like you're kind of a little piece of you like, oh, thank God, you're not.
So you can't do any more damage to yourself. He had a great career. He's gonna be missed in the ring, but he's left one hell of a catalog to look back on.
God. Literally just go to the network and hit fucking just any match, and you're gonna be in for a good fucking time.
Yeah, he was great when you needed him to be great. He was an awesome heel, one of the best heels of all time.
When you needed him to carry the company, that was your guy.
Yeah, he was serviceable. When
you needed him to lose a couple times, he was your guy. If you needed a joke storyline, he was your guy. Yeah. You know, whatever you needed him to be, you know, even like the badass with like DX and stuff, his solo, like anything you needed him to be, you could just fucking count on him to do it.
Good stuff.
Which was fucking dope as fuck.
Exactly. So, thank you, Triple H, for your service. Yes. And, night 1 and 2 of WrestleMania 38 in the books. We're going to be looking down the road to see what else they're going to do.
Since you're on the predictions, do you want to tell the people what we will
be
reviewing?
Nearly 38 years ago, something happened.
Oh, boy.
A television program began nearly 38 years ago, almost on the anniversary day. And if we uploaded on a Tuesday, it would have been right on the day. Unfortunately, we can't do that. Yeah. But what we are going to be taking a look back at, it is one of the first shows that I ever watched. Is on a VHS tape of WrestleMania 1. Then there was a Halloween edition of this show. And then there was the show that we're actually going to review, which is the first ever edition of Saturday Night's Main Event.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I am super excited. The amount of nonsense that took place during 1985 is wonderful. We are right in the fucking thick of the rock and wrestling connection. Cyndi Lauper, Lord Alfred Hayes, Jesse Ventura, and Vince McMahon on the desk. We're going to have Hulk Hogan kicking out of more finishers. We're going to have a tag team championship match. So much is going to happen, John, and it's going to be insane.
And I know I'm going to hate every fucking second.
Every second of it.
I have not seen the card yet. I want to keep it as a surprise till the day I actually watch it. But I can tell just by your smile that this is going to be a terrible fucking night for me.
It's either going to be terrible or it's going to be terrible fun.
Hopefully it's the latter.
Oh yeah, but we will see. So that will happen next week. But first, we have ourselves a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is the 12th annual Survivor Series, 1998, and it's the Deadly Games. Yeah, that's right, the Deadly Games.
I'll just let you do your thing.
Yeah, it's November the 15th, 1998, St. Louis, Missouri, at the Kiel Center. It is a sold-out audience of 21,179 packing the stadium. Packing it up. The buy rate, John. Here we go. You fucking drum roll.
Your favorite part.
This is my favorite part. The buy rate's 478,000 approximate buys, and it is up from last year's.
Fucking finally, we got one.
Yeah, it is up from last year's approximate 250,000.
Only reason we're doing this.
Yeah. So now that I've gotten my work out of the way, we get started with this massive 14-match card. It is all about the Deadly Game tournament. Mm-hmm. We are going to be crowning a new World Wrestling Federation champion. It has been almost, or over, I believe, 2 months since they have had a WWF champion. Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler are on the desk.
Michael Cole is a young pup in this.
That's
he's
right.
in charge of interviewing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's in the backstage. And I am so fucking excited to be in this realm, in this Attitude Era, especially because you dropped a goddamn bombshell on me.
Yep.
Just before we got started. What was that bombshell? Tell the listeners.
I have not watched any of these shows
God.
to back.
Oh!
Never watched
my Lord. This is so great. The first thing that I did when I got the WWE Network was that I started watching all of the Attitude Era. Yeah. Everything, because I had never done it. I'd always only seen like a couple of pay-per-views. I had the King of the Ring on VHS, had WrestleMania 14, yada, yada, yada. As soon as I got the network, binge watched all of the Attitude Era.
Because that was my thing when I got the network too. Is that I was doing the same thing, but I was doing it just by like single matches. Like I want to see Stone Cold, so I would just look up his match from Survivor Series, but never the whole show.
Yes.
So these are completely new realm for me.
And what's great, and the reason that I wanted to do this was because I consider this block of Austin's road back to the WWF title to be probably the best bit of Attitude Era that there has been, overall. Yeah. That's my personal opinion. And one thing is that any listeners that may have come over here may have also listened to the Attitude Era podcast. I don't know if you're familiar.
No.
Okay, well, the Attitude Era podcast covered the entire Attitude Era starting from WrestleMania 14. Okay. So they have covered this block before. So I consider them, the Attitude Era podcast, to be the best wrestling podcast of all time. Easily. Okay. We are not going to be ripping off anything from the Attitude Era podcast. This is going to be our opinions and our opinions alone. We're not going to make the same jokes because we are professionals, damn it. But if you want even more coverage, even more insight of the block that we are going to be doing, and you haven't actually listened to the Attitude Era podcast, I highly recommend it as just for listeners of wrestling fandom. If you've ever been interested in the Attitude Era, if you are getting a piqued interest by listening to us, thank you very much. But you are going to love the Attitude Era podcast as well.
Yep.
So we're going to be doing this block. I'm so fucking excited. And now I know that you haven't actually watched. This is going to be great. So Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler on the desk.
Yeah.
And yes, the title has been vacant since Breakdown. So September, the Breakdown pay-per-view, where Austin was pinned by both Kane and the Undertaker.
Okay.
In the same match, it was a triple threat, but Undertaker could not pin Kane. Kane could not pin the Undertaker. The odds were stacked against Steve Austin. Ultimately, he could not prevail. It's an infamous scene where Vince McMahon has the Smoking Skull title, and he's at the limo, and he's like, "It's mine!" And he gives him the fuck up finger. Brilliant. At Judgment Day, Kane and The Undertaker tried to have a wrestling match with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the guest referee in order to crown a new World Wrestling Federation champion. If Austin did not pin or, raise the hand of a new WWF champion, he would be fired. Guess what? He did not crown a new World Wrestling Federation champion. He was fired for all of about 24 hours.
Yeah.
Where he would kidnap Vince McMahon. He would do
That's
the
how you get your job back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those segments. Yeah.
Shane McMahon appears as an on-screen authority figure and personality. He got Stone Cold Steve Austin an ironclad contract for the next 5 years. That is how he's reinstated, and that is how we have gotten to the tournament. But in doing so, Vince McMahon has pushed Shane McMahon down to being a lowly referee. Yes. So a lot of things happening around this time.
Shit, yeah.
Yes, indeed. As well as Vince McMahon has had a personal grudge against The Rock because The Rock is the people's champion and Vince McMahon, he hates the people. And The Rock had to do a lot of fighting in order to get here. He had to go through Mark Henry or Ken Shamrock, and he's had to run the gauntlet pretty much for all these amount of weeks. He had lost his spot, regained his spot. I'm telling you all of this now because the promo package did nothing to tell you about that.
And even before we get back into it, those Rock versus Ken Shamrock matches were fucking phenomenal. Fucking amazing.
Yes, incredible stuff. But yeah, so that is how we are here at the Deadly Games tournament, 14-match card. I love in the promo package, they've got like the flashes, they scan by the face. And here are your potential winners: Steve Austin, The Rock, The Undertaker.
Al
Snow, Goldust, Jeff Jarrett.
That did make me laugh when I was looking at that. I'm like, no one thinks Al Snow's gonna win.
Yes. So we kick it off by looking at the brackets, and we notice that The Undertaker and Kane have got a first round bye. So they are guaranteed in the second round to be facing off against each other. And then at the ring,
which was weird because as a sports guy,
yes,
usually one person gets a bye, but because if both of them are going to get a bye, why not just make it the first round match? I don't know. That was super fucking confusing to me. But after I heard JR and Jim Ross talk about the brackets, I kind of figured out everyone was confused about these brackets.
Yeah.
Because some nonsense does go down in these brackets. But that I found super weird. I'm like, why give them both a bye? Just make them fight in the first round.
Yeah, or, you could have bothered to just give them some local Joe Schmo or something.
Yeah, it was just a weird booking thing.
Yeah, but needless, they're going to be in the second round.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon, along with the Stooges.
Yep.
Patterson, Briscoe, and also Sergeant Slaughter is there. He is going to be introducing the mystery opponent for one Mankind. Mankind comes out. He is the new hardcore champion. Yep. It has been bestowed upon him by McMahon.
And I thought I was going to get tired of his fucking entrance, but I didn't. I love that.
Yeah. Love it. He's coming out. He's in a suit.
A full fucking three-piece.
Yeah.
Because he wants to impress Vince.
Does. Yeah. He seems to be the chosen one for this tournament. Yep. And so Vince McMahon, he makes a big deal. Talks about how this mystery opponent, is a legend. How after reaching a peak here in the World Wrestling Federation, he went over to WCW. But after an injury, he had retired from competition and started coaching, the Pasadena Chargers. And now he's back. The man, the myth, Dwayne Gill.
And again, I've never watched these shows. So when I fucking heard the introduction, I was like, wait, I don't remember Mankind facing anybody of that caliber. Like, who the fuck could it be? When he announced that, I sounded just like Jim Ross. I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch.
They got you.
They got me good.
They roped you in. Yes, and the Pasadena Chargers are a child's football league. Jim Ross has to mention. The match begins. And the match ends is the best that can be said about it. Double arm DDT and then gets into a cradle and picks up the victory. Mankind wins and advances. Yeah. Easy peasy stuff.
Already kind of telling you what the story is going to be like moving forward.
I also did like this little thing just before Mankind went for the pin. He tried to go for Socko, but Socko's not in his pants.
Yeah, that's going to come up.
That's going to come up later.
Yep.
Yes, we have a recap of Jacqueline attacking Sable on Sunday Night Heat. Kevin Kelly then backstage interviewing Sable, and Sable is pissed off. She's going to be the new World Wrestling Federation Women's Champion. She throws her ice across the room. Match number 2.
Double J.
Yeah, that's JFF. I'm not going to do the whole thing.
So it's Jeff Jarrett versus Al Snow.
That's right. And Double J accompanied by Deborah. And Al Snow is accompanied by Ted.
Even match.
Yeah, I think so. I love that on the in his name bracket, it does say Al Snow with head.
Not with the head.
Yeah.
It just says with head.
They start outside right on, and Al Snow with a senton off the steel steps. Back in the ring, it is a stun gun by Jeff Jarrett, who then takes control. He goes to Irish whip Al Snow, but Al Snow does an up and over the top rope and does a neck breaker where he kind of snaps his neck off the top rope.
Yeah, and remember, for most of these matches, most of the competitors are going for the early quick pins because they want to be fresh for the next round. So there's a lot of pinning going on in this match.
And the first round has a 10-minute time limit as well. So these guys are going to be, they should be going at a fast pace.
Yeah.
They should. I want to keep that in mind because I have a bone to pick with one of these matches later on.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
A leg drop from the top rope by Al Snow is missed. A DDT by Snow shortly thereafter onto Jeff Jarrett, but it gets a near fall. Then it is head. And the head's hit for a double down, and then Deborah grabs hold of head and tries to toss it into Jeff Jarrett. Some confusion as Al Snow grabs hold of the guitar.
Head versus guitar, even matchup.
Exactly. Head versus guitar, who shall win? Jeff Jarrett hits Al Snow first.
Because Al Snow, he swings
for the fences.
But misses.
Yes. And then the referee tries to get the guitar out of the ring, but in that scuffle, in that kerfuffle, Al Snow gets hold of head, smashes Jeff Jarrett across the face, and 1, 2, 3. Al Snow advances
to the next round. Mankind.
Yes, he does. So head beats guitar.
Yep, apparently.
Tell your friends.
Shit.
Yeah. Moving quite briskly on to match number 3.
Yeah, like these matches are...
Yeah, they're firing.
Yeah, one finishes, the other guys come out.
Yeah. It's very quick this first round for sure. There's no recap packages.
No, it's just straight up
firing right through. And
so many matches to get through.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the pacing is a bit jarring. It's a bit in your face.
They slow down a little later on, but for the first round, they are fucking flying through these matches.
Going through it. Match number 3 is Boss Man versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
We gotta talk about Boss Man a little later.
Yes. So it starts with the brawl outside. Of course.
Because this match is literally Vince's way of taking out Austin.
Exactly.
Boss Man was not going for a wrestling match.
No. So the one thing that I will say, though, is that even in match number 3 by this point, I'm loving the differences of the matches, because we've had our squash match, we've had our little, actual wrestling match, short as it was, and now we're having a little bit of brawl, you know, like we're getting a 3-course meal here. I'm loving the big boss man. I'm loving the big boss man, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Boss Man. The more that I watch him, the more respect that I earn here. Austin with a quick fire start, but a low blow right in front of the referee, but the referee doesn't call it.
Yeah.
Boss Man slows Austin down and takes control here. He doesn't move.
And sorry, before that, they cut to Vince. They cut to Vince a lot during this tournament. Yeah. But they cut to Vince during this match, and he's watching the show on the smallest TV I've ever seen in my fucking life.
It's very monitor-esque,
I'm like, what the fuck are you watching? At that point, just go outside.
I'm expecting like a black and white screen, like one of those really old little. Would have been better if he was listening to it on radio,
because it was like a tiny TV on top of like a cooler. It was like
very ramshackle.
Yeah.
For the billionaire. So Boss Man does this move where he slides out under the ropes and hits Austin with an uppercut, very innovative. They only brawl for like maybe a minute or two more. They're back on the outside, and Boss Man grabs a nightstick and wails on Austin.
Yeah. As they cut to Vince just having a blast backstage.
Cackling. Cackling like a gang of schoolgirls, these people.
And you can see like his stooges just patting him in the back. Like they're having
what a great idea, Mr. McMahon. Great idea. So beat down on Stone Cold Steve Austin. Vince McMahon says that Austin is in for a long night.
Not even done.
No. A long night. Match number 4. X-Pac versus the real man's man.
Yep.
William Regal.
I forgot about this fucking gimmick till I saw the match.
Absolutely. And a real man's man, best song ever. Best entrance theme of anybody of all time.
Best wrestling attire of all
as well.
time.
Yes.
Some G-shorts, a construction vest, and come on.
Yeah,
Classic.
Yes. X-Pac is the European champion, and on the name graphic, it actually spelled European wrong. It says Europeone.
Oh, Attitude Era.
Yeah. Jerry the King Lawler singing Regal's theme on the way out. Pretty funny. Again, different style of match, and I think that this is a great pairing.
This match was really fun.
It was.
This match was a really fun.
You have X-Pac with the fast pace and the quickness. You got Regal with the English style, that ground and pound. A snapmare with a knee right to the top of the dome looked very sore. Sunset flip, Regal rolls through and just catapults X-Pac into space.
Because usually, nowadays, they use that move and they shoot you into the ring ropes.
Yeah.
This one, he just landed in the middle of the ring.
Yeah. Right in the face.
Which actually looks more painful than the way they do it now.
It does, yeah. It looks like a very, very good maneuver. X-Pac reverses and hits Regal with the leg scissors and begins to fight back here. Double underhook suplex off the top rope, and Pac lands hard.
That was nasty fall.
Yes, he actually re-aggravates his neck injury here. The match slows down very quickly here, and they seem to lose focus. It was one of those grab a hold, brother. But they get back into it. X-Pac hits a spinning heel kick. He looks to be okay. Follows that up with a Bronco Buster. Heads for the top rope, goes for a maneuver, but William Regal crotches Pac on the outside. A suplex follows that up on the outside floor. X-Pac starts wailing away on William Regal, but it is a count out for both men.
Vince then sends one of his stooges out. He says, restart the match.
Give him 5 more minutes.
Yeah. But by the time he goes there, Pac is already at the back of the... he's just like,
Pac
nope.
is already gone.
He's gone.
He can't do it.
They still ring the bell. But again, Pac is nowhere to be. He is gone. Nothing
to it. So, unfortunately, X-Pac did get injured during this kerfuffle. So it stays as a double count out. Austin ends up getting a bye.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
And at this point, you can hear Jerry and Jim Ross just being like, what the fuck?
Oh, God. Like, what's going on here? It's falling off the rails, lads. Jesus Christ. Okay, so match number 5 is Ken Shamrock versus Goldust. Ken Shamrock, one of my favorites from the Attitude Era, and just fucking would you look at him? He is built of fucking stone. Jesus. He is in such good shape here. He is the IC champion. And Goldust here. It's an odd pairing. Odd combo.
I hated this match.
Yeah.
It was such a weird mix.
Yes.
So far to this tournament, it's been pretty good mixes of style.
Yes.
This one just was a little too left for me.
Exactly.
This one was a little bit too left.
Yes, yeah. And it was a slow match and a quiet one.
Yeah.
For most of it. A leg sweep and a chin lock by Ken Shamrock. And this is the thing. You've got 10 minutes. These matches are going to go maybe 6. Why is a rest hold needed? Why is a chin lock needed? These should be very fast-paced. It should be boom, 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 get to your finish. Like, there should be no need to rest. These men haven't even broken a sweat, especially Ken Shamrock, for God's sake. Honestly. Goldust tries to fire back, but is cut off by Ken Shamrock. A powerbomb that Goldust attempts, which is also cut off, but it's a near fall. Goldust follows that up with a bulldog. Goes for the Shattered Dreams, but the ref stops it. And here's where I believe you're getting your oh my God from. It doesn't have to do with the Hurricane Run.
That was terrifying to look at.
Yes.
So Ken Shamrock goes to hit a top rope Hurricanrana.
Yes.
And he lands right on his fucking neck.
Yeah.
Like
all of it.
Straight
all of it.
Everything on his neck.
Full weight.
The fact that he got up, I have so much more respect for him.
Yeah.
Because that looked nasty.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah.
Ken Shamrock quickly transitions into the ankle lock on Goldust and gets the tap out of it. I think before any more damage was done, let's get this.
Yeah, because usually in this tournament, you want to go to the next round healthy and not with a broken neck.
You'd hope. You'd like to think so. But yeah, we get the tap out. Ken Shamrock advances into the next round. Michael Cole is backstage, standing in front of a doorway. We presume Austin is on the other side of that door. Michael Cole is giving us an update on Austin's injuries.
Saying he's refusing medical attention.
In the Austin way.
Yep.
Yes. And he says, if I know Austin, he'll do whatever he can to get back out there tonight. Yeah. He and Austin are best buds, I guess. So it seems. You're nonsense. Match number 6. It is supposed to be The Rock versus Triple H.
This is the final first round match.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But The Rock comes out. He's waiting upon Triple H. The music plays, and out comes Patterson and Briscoe.
Doing the DX entrance.
And Patterson is so into it. Yeah. Like, just giving her, you know? Patterson, love these guys. Patterson and Briscoe are going to get into just the greatest of shenanigans the more that we get into this period of time. They come out. Briscoe has been tasked by Mr. McMahon to come up with a replacement opponent. I'm quoting him.
God, you're killing the accent right now. This is fucking great.
And so Mr. McMahon took it upon me.
And that's the actual speed.
So the Big Boss Man is announced. Only winners advance is what Jim Ross said at the top of the show.
No one knows what's going on.
No.
And if you guys are getting tired of Big Boss Man, just you wait.
Yeah, we're just getting started with the Big Boss Man. So the Big Boss Man is announced as the replacement. He makes his way down to the ring. The match begins, and the match ends.
This was actually super entertaining for me.
Yeah, it was.
The second the bell rings, The Rock just rolls him up.
That's right.
1, 2, 3. He's out of there.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant. I love that.
It was a 4-second victory for the Big Boss Man. Jerry the King Waller says, didn't even get a chance to smell what he was cooking. Which I found wonderful. Big cheers for The Rock here. It's actually quite interesting because The Rock had only just recently turned into a babyface about the same time as Breakdown. He was actually the number 1 contender and won a triple threat match at Breakdown in order to get this opportunity.
Because wasn't he in the Nation before this?
He was.
Yeah, he was in the Nation.
And he had just recently removed himself from the Nation, started getting the cheers, defeated Mankind and Ken Shamrock in a cage match. But that number 1 contendership never came to pass because there was never a champion. So it's interesting that he's on the cusp here of becoming a real major star. Yeah. A major babyface star at that. Second round kicks off right away. We're not taking a breath here. Match number 7, the guys that got the buys. It is The Undertaker with Reunited and It Feels So Good. Paul Bearer versus Kane. Yes, indeed.
I did not like this match. I'm not sure what your thoughts on this was.
Whoa!
I was not a fan of this match.
Hot take. Well, we'll get into it, and then at the end, I will tell you about whether or not I enjoyed this.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, just starting off, however, this is my favorite version of The Undertaker, bar none, hands down. Okay. This is the best song, the best entrance, and the best repairing of the evil Paul Bear. Second only, really close, is The Taker from 1997. If you've ever watched anything from Undertaker in 97, he looks so badass here.
Because this was 98 was what, Ministry of Dark or
this prelude? Yes, we're preluding, and oh baby, we'll be talking about the Ministry. We'll be talking about the Ministry later on. Kane is kind of getting his first real, I don't want to say singles run, but individual run, where he has nobody with him this time. He's been with Paul Bear since his debut, and now he's a man all unto himself, kind of directionless, because at Judgment Day, Paul Bear turned on Kane, on his own son. To reunite with The Undertaker. So here we go.
Because that's the thing. They kept calling Kane Paul Bear's son, but it's like, if Kane and Undertaker are brothers, doesn't that also make Undertaker Paul Bear's son? But I don't know.
I think they're half. I think it's half brothers in the lineage. It's very, very...
very deep lore.
Yeah, it really is. It's deep lore. They have wrestled 5 times, The Undertaker and Kane have wrestled 5 times
since his debut
so far. Yes, on major pay-per-view and on Raw. Okay. This will be their 5th time here. So let's see how well these two do, seeing as you're apparently not a fan of their chemistry. Here we go. Undertaker kicks it off and shortly hits an arm drag, like an arm twist and side kick. Unbelievable from this man, The Undertaker. Agile, the quickness. The Undertaker hammering Kane in the corner, just delivering the clubbing blows. But a power slam by Kane puts the Undertaker down. But Kane goes for the big elbow drop, and The Undertaker sits up. Yeah. Amazing quickness. The Undertaker delivers a chop block. The Undertaker delivers a chop block to the leg. Goes for the spinning toe hold. Dory Funk's incredible finishing maneuver.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, Kane kicks off the Undertaker, but cannot fight back just yet. The Undertaker maintains control and continues to just ground and pound. Undertaker is just nailing Kane with
left and right.
Everything he's got. And Kane is starting to no-sell.
Well, he's a demon. He probably can't even feel punches.
Yeah, this lightning pace action as Kane reverses the Irish whip and goes for a clothesline from the top rope. A big clothesline.
Like, this might be another hot take. It felt like I was watching Ray versus Eddie. That was amazing quickness.
Right? The agility. So there's a double throttle and for the choke slam. And Kane wins the throttle and delivers the choke slam to the Undertaker. But Paul Bear gets up onto the apron. This is a pivotal moment of the matchup. He gets up, Kane swinging at the Paul Bear, who flops down onto the apron. But it's enough for the big take to get back to his feet and deliver a tombstone pile driver. And Paul Bear holding the leg for good measure for the 1, 2, 3. Undertaker advances in this all-time Matt classic.
God damn. Not even the way you described it made it seem interesting.
Yeah, this match was not good.
This was one of their worst ones. This was not great.
Yeah, unfortunately, this was not what I was hoping for between the Undertaker and Kane.
Me neither. I thought when I first saw the card, I thought this was gonna be like the standout one. Yeah. But then, like, thinking back, I'm like, I've never really heard anyone speak of this match, but. You know how there's a couple matches that go under the radar? Yeah. So I thought this was one of it. It was not. It was not. This was ass.
And the thing is, like these guys are supposed to be, like, the whole idea of making sure in kayfabe that these two fought each other, right? It was, like, so that they'd kill each other. Like, that was the idea. Get the Undertaker and Kane to die.
Because in kayfabe, Undertaker murders their parents.
Family, just turned on.
So it's like the kid wants revenge.
So it's supposed to be this knockdown, drag-out war. And if it was one of those, we'd be looking at this match a lot more fondly.
Oh, yeah.
But instead, we get this plotting mess. But yeah, the Undertaker moves on. Fantastic.
Could have got a triple by at that point.
Could have. But we're moving on to match number 8. Let's pick it up now with Mankind and Al Snow with Head. I was expecting good things from this matchup. I got my little dud here with the Undertaker Kane, but Mankind and Al Snow, these two are very good friends. They've got the hardcore kind of elements.
Wait, did you like it? You didn't like it?
I did like it.
Oh, yeah, that was about to say. Okay. The way you were describing, I'm like, how did you not like this match? This match was great.
No, I was very happy with it. Snow with a clothesline and early drop kick, to get things started. Snow uses a chair and swings for the fences, but Mankind ducks.
Yep.
Snow goes for a flying nothing off the guardrail, and Mankind instead delivers a flapjack onto the steel chair.
Yeah.
It is at this point that JR is bringing up quite frequently the rule bending that these two men are going through and how the referee is being quite relaxed with the rules here.
Anyone who's ever heard JR on commentary knows he does not like when wrestlers go outside the rules, so he was not happy throughout this match.
This night was a bit of a horror show for Jim Ross.
He was living a nightmare the entire time.
Yeah, we're cutting in between back to Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon says, wait until he sees Mr. Sacco, because Mr. Sacco is on Head. Yeah, as a headband.
Because I think Vince placed it on Head, or he gave it to Al Snow or something.
Yes, and it is on head, and after Al Snow tries to use head, but misses, Mankind delivers a back suplex and then sees Mr. Socko on head, takes it off, and starts beating up the head.
Beating the shit, stomping it, doing all...
Doing the punches, the kicks, the stomps. It's unbelievable.
That was amazing.
Yes. Mankind is fired up, but gets put down pretty quickly by a sit-out spine buster by Al Snow. Very pretty there. A double-arm DDT, however, by Mankind, and the Socko is on.
Yep.
Mandible Claw onto Al Snow, and then the victory. Mankind advances into the semifinals.
In a very, very fun match.
Yeah.
Very fun match.
Absolutely. It was great stuff. So far, best match of the night, I would say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It would have been Pac Regal, but the way it ended messed that whole thing up.
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
yes.
but so far, I'm with you. This is match of the night. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Match number 9. We're almost through it. Here we go. The Rock versus Ken Shamrock. As you alluded to, there's big history with these men.
Yeah.
They've had
their
many
chemistry's fucking amazing.
Absolutely, yes. We had this is going all the way back from Survivor Series the previous year.
Yeah.
They've had a match at the Royal Rumble. They've had a match at WrestleMania. They were in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament in which the Ken Shamrock won.
Yep. Literally, whenever they don't have anything for The Rock or Ken, it's like, here, you two do your thing.
Absolutely, yes. And now they are here fighting for the right to be in the semifinals. Here we go. Heel versus face roles have even been reversed here. It is now The Rock that is the conquering hero. The Rock is aggressive, starting at the gate. The Rock, they bring up, has tapped many times to the ankle lock, and how the Rock is desperate to avoid that maneuver. Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler are great here in building the story, I will say. Yeah, they're on their A game at this point. An explosive clothesline by The Rock out of the corner. And then we have, they bring up also on commentary, I have to say, that The Rock has only been doing this for 2 years now. Yeah. He's only been here for 2 years. Survivor Series of '96.
Listen, he was a born superstar.
Jesus Christ.
Born superstar.
Is he ever? Like, it's nuts. He's in the main event picture already. Shamrock throws The Rock into the steel steps and a body slam on the floor. Back inside, Shamrock works over with a big running knee lift to The Rock. The Boss Man is at ringside.
He's fucking back. Yeah, and he's just circling the ring.
Yes.
While Ken Shamrock has The Rock in like a headlock.
Yeah.
And Big Boss Man is just circling.
Just there.
You know he's up to something.
Absolutely. And yes, all of a sudden, now at the 11th hour, Ken Shamrock is able to hit a perfect Hurricane Rana. Yeah. Picture perfect this time. Nearly kills himself on the top rope with a picture perfect Hurricane Rana.
Which is like, salute to him, because after the first one, that move is out of my playbook. Yeah. It's like Brock with the shooting star press. Like, one mistake, that is out of my playbook. So salute to him for even fucking attempting that one again.
Indeed. The Rock gets the belly-to-belly suplex, and then Ken Shamrock locks him in to the ankle lock. It should be over.
They even said it. He's tapped to it many times.
But The Rock gets to the ropes and is broken up. They hit a double down here and then float over DDT. The Boss Man gets up onto the apron. He's got the nightstick in hand while the Rock goes low here. And then a people's elbow. But Ken Shamrock kicks out.
Yep.
Unreal. Craziness. Rock bottom counted into the belly. And Boss Man has got the nightstick. Yep. He goes to throw it at Ken Shamrock.
He distracts the ref.
Yes. It is intercepted by The Rock. Picture perfect. Nails Ken Shamrock in the head with the nightstick and gets the victory. Unbelievable.
Great stuff.
Unbelievable finish. This was fantastic to see that happen.
And so far, round 1, quick pin on Boss Man. Round 2, Boss Man helps well,
inadvertently
helps The Rock win. So, yeah.
And The Rock is getting more and more over with each victory. Like, the cheers are getting louder and louder. Like, they are into this. And, yeah, you couldn't have timed that better. Like, the football skills of The Rock were on point there and showing through. Backstage, quick promo by Paul Bearer hyping The Undertaker versus The Rock, which is now the semifinal solidified there.
He does say a line. He's like, the only Rock that the Undertaker is scared of is a tombstone. And I was like, yeah, Paul Bearer, you got that, buddy.
Yes, wonderful. Excellent stuff. Match number 10. The Women's Championship is on the line as Sable challenges Jacqueline for the Women's Championship with Marvelous Mark Merrill at ringside.
Yep.
Yes. Shane McMahon making his first appearance as the lowly referee. Yep. He might as well be dirt.
Which must make every other referee in the company just feel terrible.
Yeah. Hey, 2 months ago, Jacqueline won the championship on Brawl from Sable. Jacqueline is also wearing Sable's hair, which I find awesome. Like, that is such a great idea. Like, one of these bitches need to start doing that in today's world.
And this, to be fair, was a really fun. I really enjoyed this match.
I was super surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, I remember Sable being the dirt worst. Yeah. She can't work to save her life.
And my thing, too, is with just any women's match from this era.
Yes.
It's very
abysmal.
Yeah.
It's all about the tits. It's all about the ass. It's so, very much.
Like, I was, like, halfway through this match, and I was, like, edge of my seat. I was really enjoying this shit.
It was not a train wreck, which was great. Not. So Jacqueline attacked Sable from behind in order to start Sable with a kick to the face, though, after taking over, and hits a TKO. Mark Merrow pulling Sable out of the ring. He gets hit to the kick of the dick.
Kicks him right in the dong.
Exactly, and then a Sable bomb on the outside to Mark Merrow.
Amazing. I did not know how she could even fucking lift him, and she fucking did that. That was super impressive.
Exactly, yes. But Jacqueline, in that distraction, is able to take over, work over Sable for a little bit, but not for terribly long, as Sable fights out of a Sable bomb attempt by Jacqueline with a backdrop, goes for a tornado DDT, does Jacqueline, but again, the Sable counters. Sable hits the Sable bomb quickly, and then Sable wins back the Women's Championship. Jacqueline probably deserves a ton of credit for that.
But again, everyone involved in this shit was amazing. This was a very fun match.
I was so pleasantly surprised. Yeah. This was one of the dark horses for me.
Yeah. And the fact that this was kind of like, hey, just do something quick while the wrestlers kind of take a breather type of thing. They went above and beyond. That was really cool.
They did indeed.
That was really, really cool.
Here we go, match number 11. It is Mankind.
And here's when we start kind of picking up now with quality.
Yes, versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold takes to the ring and starts ripping off the items of Mankind. Rips off the jacket and takes off his shoes. Uses one of the shoes to nail Mankind right in the dome. But here comes Vince McMahon and the Stooges.
Yeah.
Yes.
This whole segment, this is gonna get so fucking good.
It's gonna get wild. So Mankind comes back and starts with the choking into the corner, running knee into the corner of Austin's face. Luthez press, though, as Austin makes a comeback and drops the elbow, the classic Austin moves. Austin goes for the stunner. Mankind pushes him off and then boots it up the
ramp. He's trying to get that hell out of there.
Up the entranceway, boom shakalaka.
But the Stooges come out. They're trying to kind of convince Mankind to, get back in there.
So Austin comes up and does a knocker. Oh my God, it's 80s wrestling personified. The triple noggin knocker going after Mankind, tries to deliver a power driver on the outside, but Mankind backdrops him over. Austin then gets thrown into the steps here. Back in the ring, Steve Austin put into a rear chin lock, but Austin quickly battles back, but there is a double down. Once he gets back up, Austin hits a fucking wild clothesline, knocks Mankind's dick still.
Listen, something about Rock and Austin, they just went a little extra hard on Foley every time they were in the same match.
Some juice, little bit of pepper on that.
Damn.
Some stomping a mud hole in his ass and walking it dry. Austin tries to pull Mankind into the post, but Austin ends up getting hit instead. Mankind produces a steel chair, runs into the corner at Austin, but chair back into the face, gets the boot out. Quickly turns to a DDT on the chair and a near fall.
Yeah.
Yes. Mankind looks to go for a power driver on said steel chair, but Steve Austin with a backdrop onto the chair, and then picks Mankind back up and delivers a stunner. Oh my God.
And it's basically over at this point.
Yes.
Ref counts.
Yes.
1, 2.
McMahon is healed.
McMahon jumps out of his fucking wheelchair and pulls the ref out of the ring.
Yes.
Which was fucking amazing.
Nails the referee with everything he's got. So now Austin is in control, but there is no referee.
Yep.
Mankind is coming out of his fucking pants.
He's trying to do the mandible claw, but his pants are at his ankle.
Jesus Christ. Austin with a low blow and then another stunner, and here comes Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon, that lowly, low down, dirty referee.
If you ever want to hear Jim Ross in his fucking prime, just rewatch this shit.
Shane McMahon slides into the ring. The man that has hired back Steve Austin goes for the 1, goes for the 2, but no 3.
Stops himself.
Looks Steve Austin dead in the eye, positions himself to look dead in the eye, and flips him the double bird. Shane McMahon is turned heel.
And Jim Ross is losing his shit.
He is having a conniption.
Losing his fucking shit at this point.
And then, here's where the match kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
Because we were supposed to have the Big Bossy Man making another appearance, but apparently, Big Boss Man is nowhere to be found. He's talking in the back, trying to figure out his spot in the next match coming up.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
I didn't know that bit.
Oh, yes. So these guys are kind of just moving around, trying to figure out what to do.
That makes sense, because I did see there was one point where Austin kind of leaves the ring and he's looking back. I thought it was Mankind was supposed to like grab him or something.
No, it was supposed to be the Big Boss Man. So with Big Boss Man nowhere in sight, we have to improvise a spot, and therefore Gerald Briscoe comes in and delivers the weakest chair shot of all time. And that is enough to put Stone Cold Steve Austin away. Shane McMahon slides in, counts the 3. Mankind advances to the finals.
Vince and his crew bolt out of there.
Yes, and Jim Ross says, they skipping gaily away on the McMahon clan.
They get into Vince's limo. They drive off.
Speed off.
Austin just takes some random guy's pickup truck,
commits some Grand Theft Auto, and takes off after them.
And chases them.
Wonderful stuff. That was bonkers, batshit crazy goodness. It is now time for The Rock versus The Undertaker. As The Rock makes his entrance, there's a sign in the crowd. And I wanted to get your take on this, because I think it would be interesting. It says, "Free Scott Hall and Kevin Nash." Free Scott Hall and Nash in the crowd. And I was wondering, would these two gentlemen have fit into the Attitude Era?
Scott Hall and Kevin Nash? Like a fucking glove. They would have been their whole shit was like, kind of Attitude Era-esque, but just in a different promotion. But yeah, they would have fucking fit in great. Probably not their characters from the 80s.
Yeah.
Probably not Razor Ramon and Diesel.
Yeah.
But Kevin Nash and Scott Hall for sure. But I don't think Razor Ramon and Diesel would have been good fits.
All right. Yeah, because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, when Razor and Diesel left, it made way for people like Austin.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking to myself, had they have been there, had they have stayed, had they have become Scott Hall and Nash.
That's a different...
Right.
That's a whole different thing. Yeah. If you're saying if they never went to WCW, then no, I don't even think. Yeah, I don't see how this era even becomes possible.
Right.
Because then Vince would just keep doing the whole big guys.
Yeah.
That's still gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
But if you're asking if them coming back from WCW, that would have worked, of course.
I'm wondering where they would have fit though. In a world where Scott Hall and Kevin Nash come back into the World Wrestling Federation from WCW, where would they fit? Would they fit in DX? Would they fit fighting DX? Because are they the type of guys that would be like, yeah, we'll be secondary, like we'll be the co-main event?
Yeah.
Or are these guys the type of guys that want to be feuding with Austin?
That's good, because especially if they're coming back from WCW,
they want main event.
Money. They want main event status.
Yeah.
So that means they would have to be up against The Rock, up against Stone Cold. Yeah, then up against Mankind.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Right? So as much as their characters might fit in the Attitude Era as who they are, do they actually fit?
Because even if you do the outsiders, even if you leave them as a unit, as the outsiders,
that's the idea. I would think.
That's even worse because the tag division at that point was the New Age Outlaws.
We're gonna see it.
Exactly. There wasn't any tag team that was like, hey, we can main event a show of this tag team, right?
Yeah.
So you would either have to put something up on the spot type of thing. Yeah, so they're or have them do like, them be a group but have individual feuds. And at that point, why even keep them as the outsiders?
Exactly.
That's a great fucking...
That's tough.
That's a great point.
This is tough.
Like, again, technically their characters would fit.
Yeah.
But if in reality we do put them there...
Yeah.
What do you do with them? Yeah.
What do you do that would satiate them and still make sense?
Yeah.
Because you have and we're going to get into it, you have the perfect setup between Rock, Austin, Mankind, the young talent, or the new generation.
Because that's the thing. Even though Rock and Austin and Mankind, they were, the heavyweights at that time for the WWE.
Yeah. Triple H quickly coming up as well.
Yeah, but if you look at them compared to Scott Hall and Diesel, they're kind of small dudes. So, already...
Diesel, giant, yes.
Is a giant.
But Scott Hall, fucking huge as well.
Yes. It just so happens that he's beside a giant, so he looks like a normal, but he's not a normal wrestler.
Big man.
He's a giant fucking dude. Yeah. So already it's like, how would Vince even, like, I don't see Vince booking The Rock, like that version of The Rock. I don't want people to confuse it with Superstar Rock.
Yeah.
I mean, that version of The Rock, 2 years into the company Rock.
Yeah.
I don't see him booking him to, rock bottom a 7 feet tall Diesel,
Exactly.
Just even in this match that we're about to get into with him versus the Undertaker.
Yes.
You already kind of see that dynamic. So to put him against those two guys, and then Stone Cold's even, smaller than fucking thing. So
it's an interesting thing to think about.
Again, their characters would work.
Yeah.
But storyline wise and just the way Vince books shit, it just seems like it wouldn't.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work, or it would work great at the expense of giving up on Rock and Stone Cold. So it basically comes down to, would you rather see the Attitude Era with The Rock and Austin feud
and,
or the Outsiders.
Yeah.
Because we can't have both.
Yeah, you wouldn't. And that's where the problem lies, is that eventually, with the politics and the book, somebody has to get squashed in order to put Hall and Nash there.
Yep.
And
so you either get a 1998-99 Attitude Era of Austin and Rock, which was, we already saw how fucking great that was.
Yeah.
Or we take those two guys out and add the Outsiders, and it's like, what would that era even look like, right?
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But yeah, free Hall and Nash. There you go. The Rock and The Undertaker brawl outside early on. Rock and Undertaker, they're having a bit of a slow and formulaic matches, is what I was gathering here. You know, The Undertaker is really taking a lot of control here, much like he was doing with Kane. Just a lot of ground and pound, just a lot of bop, you know?
But don't worry, because someone's here to save the day.
Somebody is on the way. It is the Big Boss Man.
He is back.
Indeed, he's back. He's back. He's lingering. He's managed to find his way in between when he was supposed to be there, and now he's here. But in the middle of this, however, we have Paul Bearer using the dreaded shoe to attack The Rock, and Jim Ross with a great line here: "If the heel don't get you, the smell will," which is wonderful. Yes, corner clothesline by The Rock is ducked. The Rock and The Undertaker then trading blows. A Samoan drop to the Big Taker. Yes, as we said, the Big Boss Man is coming down here. The Rock manages to hit a DDT out of nowhere. He taunts the sit-up of The Undertaker and then calls Paul Bear right on the hard camera a fat piece of shit.
You fat piece of shit.
Yeah, and he does the whole big, does the belly, you fat piece of shit.
Making sure that if the mic didn't catch him, you still knew what he was yelling.
Yeah, honestly, such a character. Goes for the people's elbow, but the Boss Man trips him up. Taker then takes control, but hits the Boss Man as Boss Man tries to get up under the apron. And then goes for a choke slam on The Rock, but here comes Kane. And Kane comes down and choke slams The Rock.
Because The Undertaker kind of has The Rock, and then he pushes The Rock into Kane. I don't know what that was supposed to... Because even commentary was like, wait, are they back together? That was very weird.
But instead, The Rock takes the choke slam. The Undertaker, as a result, gets DQ'd. Kane has cost The Undertaker the WWF Championship. They continue to brawl to the back. So that was a formulaic match. Like, the star quality is going up, but the match quality is having some ebbs and flows here. Mankind with a promo. He will be meeting The Rock in the finals, and so he expresses that.
And then he asks Michael Cole, do you smell what the sock is cooking?
That's a good foreshadow.
Very terrible lines so far. I thought the 80s were bad. God damn.
Hey, he's foreshadowing the Rock and Sock connection, all right? This is long-term booking. How dare you? The tag team championships are on the line.
This is the division the Outsiders would fucking be.
Yeah, it's either they dominate this division or they go to the WWF title. Let's see. We have such stacked quality of the Outlaws, the New Age Outlaws, the tag team champions. They are amazing. They are top tag team stars, absolutely. And they're defending the belts against the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher, and also D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry.
I was waiting for D'Lo to do his little head bob thing. I think even people in the crowd was like, "Is he gonna do it?" Yeah. He did not do it.
No, he didn't.
Left us with some big old blue balls.
Yes, but again, the tag titles are on the line. We are starting. It is 3 men in the ring at the same time, which is always good instead of the 2-man tag out business. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
Yeah, they also put over on commentary that the outlaw rule is in effect. which means that a partner cannot pin their partner in order to win.
When was that a thing? What the fuck?
Okay, so
I just seem smart as fuck.
The New Age Outlaws were defending the World Tag Team Championships on an episode of Raw. This was many, many, many months ago.
Okay.
And at one point, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn were tagged in at the same time. So it's Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, and they're supposed to fight. But instead, they go for the collar and elbow tie-up, but Road Dogg slaps, hits the floor. Billy Gunn makes the cover. Quick 1, 2, 3. They retain the tag team titles.
Oh my god, I gotta find that match. That sounds incredible. That's amazing. That's the smartest shit I've ever heard.
So since then, the outlaw rule has been in effect. A partner cannot pin partner.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So we start with D'Lo, Billy Gunn, and I believe Mosh in the ring. They kick it off. Big elbow by Billy Gunn, but moved out of the way. Also a stinger splash in the corner. D'Lo moves out of the way of both of these things. Mosh tries to slide in and get a quick victory, but a near fall. Road Dogg is tagged in. This match was a bore.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of notes for it.
Yeah. Me neither. My only takeaway about this was Jim Ross on commentary just hating this match.
Yes. Yeah.
He does not like rule breakers. We saw it in the first match.
We saw it throughout the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this match, it got a little, because it's 3 different teams, it got a little out of hand really quick.
Yeah.
Where it was like, who's the legal person, who's not. And that pissed JR the fuck off.
Bowling shoe ugly.
Yeah. That kind of describes what type of match this was.
And it is at this point of the show that he says the officiating tonight has been at best lenient with the rules.
So for any fans of AEW that complain about his commentary, don't worry, it's been happening for years. Yes,
but D'Lo with a power bomb to the Road Dogg at one point, a double flapjack by the headbangers to the Road Dogg. The Road Dogg is really getting worked over here by both teams. They're double teaming on the Road Dogg. Henry goes for a bear hug, but then Mosh randomly clips Henry. But then they just go back to working over Road Dogg anyway. This match is sloppy.
Listen, this is the match right before the finals.
Yeah.
Like, The Rock just finished a match. He needs a minute to catch his breath. They're just, everyone kind of got their little spot to shine. Everyone got to hit their move.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Billy Gunn fucking rolls up. Who was it?
Well, Billy Gunn does get the hot tag. He's rocking and rolling, but he gets hit with the lowdown. But the pin is broken up, and then Billy Gunn just hits a pile driver on Mosh.
Wait, is the lowdown the name of D'Lo's finisher?
Yeah.
I hate the fucking attitude. Oh my god. And I knew it, but I was like, let me ask, because it can't be. There's no way he calls his finisher the lowdown.
Yeah, it's the lowdown. But Billy Gunn hits a power driver on Mosh, I believe, and that's it.
Yeah. Just
pinfall, done and done.
Yep.
What a dud. What a dud finish. Good Lord. But it's fine because we've reached the finals.
It's the finale.
Yes, to decide the World Wrestling Federation champion. It is The Rock versus Mankind.
Yep.
Yes. And we get told just before we begin here that the McMahons are back. Somehow they have made it back to the building. They're still here.
They were able to bamboozle Stone Cold.
Yes.
Hit the old switcheroo. And they're there all along.
Yes. And as you said, you've never watched this show.
Never
watched the show in its entirety. So maybe this didn't dawn on you at the beginning, but Jim Ross says, brings up Montreal. And he says how we were hoping to not have a Montreal revisited. And as soon as I heard that, I just put down, bringing up Montreal.
Yep.
Oh no.
Listen, we're gonna get into it, but yeah, as a person who's never watched the show, I heard him say that, and again, I thought he was referring to Austin, which I'm like, well,
he did get screwed.
Yeah, I'm like, I already got screwed, so why bring that up? But again, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So the match begins, and as this happens.
Oh, before the match, sorry.
Yes.
We see Vince talking to Shane and Big Boss Man.
Yes.
So you know something's brewing up in the old McMahon stable.
That's right. So as the match begins, Jerry Lawler with a very good dig here. He says, "You're gonna get to see all of this pay-per-view," which is a dig at Halloween Havoc '98.
Okay.
And how they actually lost. They ran over, and so the pay-per-view just cut off. During the main event. So, and it's funny because JR is like, well, that's not very nice. Attacking people less fortunate. To the outside and up the ramp for the brawl portion of the match, which, there's a certain quota, it seems. Back in, Mankind manages to put in the rear chin lock as the McMahon boys make their way down.
Yep.
A back suplex into the crowd by The Rock to Mankind. He gets the trash bin and just whales it off of Mankind's back. And then a backdrop back into the ringside area. A clothesline over the top and a chair off the back of The Rock by Mankind. The Rock then uses the chair to hit the stairs onto Mankind and just starts wailing away.
When I saw this spot, I'm like, yeah, The Rock and Stone Cold, they have to, because they go a little extra too crazy against McFoley, because
well,
he was putting force into those chair shots.
Hey, in regards to The Rock, Mankind, and steel chairs, you ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet, is all I'll say. Yes, so uses that.
Some really good booking there, because since The Rock isn't technically hitting Mankind with the chair, can't be disqualified. So the match keeps going.
I think Jim Ross would disagree. But be that as it may. Then a chair shot to the head of Mankind, an ugly shot. Yeah. And
McFoley should sue The Rock personally.
Yeah. And Jim Ross just keeps reiterating that Earl Hebner is one of the best officials in the business, but he must have been told to not disqualify anybody or count anybody. Like, he must have been told something. Anything to explain.
He is tired at this point of all the cheating.
Mankind hits a low blow and elbow drop from the apron by Mankind to the floor on The Rock. The Rock gets put onto the announce table, and Mankind delivers a leg drop onto the desk. Indeed. The Rock keeps trying to fight back, but Mankind is cutting him off at the pass every time. Very good match. Very good.
This was incredible.
Oh, yes. Snap DDT by The Rock out of nowhere. But then again, The Rock is sent over the top rope to the floor again. He's positioned by the Spanish announce table. Mankind going up to the second rope. Willing to drop a elbow here.
Yep.
But The Rock moves out of the way, and Mankind goes crashing through the table. And Shane McMahon here is just like, Mankind's sick. What a sick guy. Man's nuts. Oh, my God. The people's elbow after getting back into the ring here. And then it just dawned on me that for the first time since WrestleMania 14, Austin is not in the main event.
Well, for now.
Yeah. But, amazing.
Yeah.
How much longevity Steve Austin has. Every single pay-per-view, he is the main event in some way, shape, or form.
After being the guy that, they didn't know what to do with back when he was, stunning Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Now
and
it's
the Ringmaster.
The Ringmaster.
Unbelievable. It's great stuff here to see a brand new, fresh main event. This is, good stuff here. A double arm DDT, and Socko is out, and the mandible claw is in. The Rock is fading fast, but The Rock suddenly counters into the Rock bottom. And now, the sharpshooter.
Yep.
The Rock looks over at the McMahon boys, delivers the people's eyebrow, turns Mankind into the sharpshooter, and...
I didn't even notice he did that.
Yeah, and then the bell rings. Mr. McMahon forces the timekeeper to ring the bell. The Rock is our new World Wrestling Federation champion.
And the whole time, because again, I've never watched this pay-per-view, so first of all, it caught me completely by surprise.
Yes.
But when I was watching it, I thought, like, I didn't think of him joining sides with Vince.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, okay, this was probably like an error or some shit like that. Like, Big Boss Man isn't out yet. I'm like, where's the turret? Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And fucking.
So at this point, you're still being worked, is what you're saying.
Yes, basically, I'm still being a little mark.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, where's Big Boss Man? Where's somebody's gonna come out and they're gonna take the title off of The Rock or some shit. So I was still like in disbelief.
Amazing. All right, well, you would be wrong. As a screw job has taken place, Mr. McMahon gets on the microphone, says, my, I'll sell supplies. But the people screwed the people.
Yep. Just
as Stone Cold was royally screwed in that very ring tonight.
Yep.
Shane McMahon gets the microphone for 30 seconds of what was just so bad. It was so bad. He's like, I told them all along, I'm just like you, Pops.
And he did do a little. He did. And every time there was a break, because they're passing the mic around, and every time there was a break, Jim Ross would just say something. It would just be like, "You pieces of shit,
you son of a bitch! You screwed us all. You fooled us all."
Yeah, they give the mic to the Rock, and again, this is how. Because at this point, I'm still like, no, he's not going to turn on the people. He did.
Oh my
he told
God.
the people to kiss his ass.
Yeah. This. Like, just the thing about it is at this point, even just a year on, nobody cares about the Montreal Screwjob other than Vince Russo. Like, only Vince Russo cares about the Montreal Screwjob. And it's just like...
then Foley grabs the mic and it's adorable because he looks so confused. He's like, wait, but
he calls him Dad.
What's going on?
Dad, I didn't get pinned nor submit.
And then The Rock just beats the shit out of him.
Exactly. But Austin is back, baby.
Before that, there was a funny spot where Vince tries to put the belt on The Rock.
I was just about to say that. You're right,
And it would not it was hilarious.
And it's funny, too, because The Rock puts it on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And then Vince is like, let's put the belt on your waist. Let's put the belt on your waist. And so he's there and he's doing it, and he's trying, and then all of a sudden, he's just holding the belt with his hand on Rock's waist, right? And he's like, it won't go on. Like, this is the most uncoordinated bastard in the world.
Because he's holding it. He's kind of like just trying to get the picture. Yeah. He's just trying to like, yo, where's the camera? Let's just get the fucking picture. And I guess The Rock was like, give me the goddamn belt. The Rock was like, man, just give me the belt. I'll just put it on my shoulder.
Oh my God. But yes, Austin is back. He comes down, runs roughshod, stuns The Rock. The crowd gets to go home happy. He stuns Mankind.
Also, once that whole segment was over, and The Rock's music hits, you know how it starts off and it's like, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? And then you hear JR go, yeah, and it stinks.
Like Jim Ross is on absolute fire.
Oh, he was.
When there's a screw job happening or when there's an injustice, Jim Ross is your man.
I replayed that like 5 times because it was so perfect. It was like, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Then
stuff.
Yeah, and it stinks, and then the music just drops. I was like, that's perfect.
Oh my God. The crowd gets to go home happy. He stuns Mankind, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
There's no need for that one, but
that's the thing. Austin. I'm just gonna stun whoever is in my peripheral vision.
Austin goes back, lays some smack on The Rock a little bit more, and we close out the show with that.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, let's talk about it because Vince Russo, this is considered Vince Russo's baby.
Yeah.
This is his crescendo. His fingerprints are all over this. This is very much a Vince Russo driven tournament.
Yeah.
And my question to you is, did this tournament stack up? Was this a good tournament? Did you enjoy this tournament and its setup and its layout and, more importantly, its payoff?
Okay, so overall, I don't think it lived up to the expectations, to be honest.
Ooh.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, the high spots were great. Mankind throughout the whole thing was great. The Rock, Austin, Vince. But if we're looking at the tournament itself,
yes,
it was not the best thing. The early rounds were quick because, it's a pay-per-view, so we only have so much time.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of matches ending in disqualifications. Most of the matches weren't that great. So if we're just looking at the tournament, it was all right. It wasn't nothing crazy. But if we're looking at the show as a whole, then I can say that, yeah, it did live up to the hype because the show overall was incredible. The women's match, again, Mankind, The Rock, Austin, Vince, the betrayal, the big boss man coming out, even if it was annoying as fuck. Big boss man coming out and all that.
Boss man was out there a lot.
A lot. So that part, as like an overall show, was good. As just the tournament,
yes,
it wasn't great. Undertaker Kane wasn't great. X-Pac, Al Snow, William Regal, Goldust. We
Jeff Jarrett.
This Jeff Jarrett. This is a tournament for the world title, So I feel like they could have cut the tournament short by like a lot.
Yeah. Could have been like a.
They could have started in the second. Yeah, they could have started in the second round.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
if it started with Kane, Undertaker, Mankind, Austin,
Snow, excuse me.
Yeah. Snow. But if it started like in the second round, I feel like it would have been a bit better. But that first round, it was just like you could have done so much more in that time. But that's just my take on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did the payoff? The actual payoff of the Rock heel turn, the screw job, how did that land for you? Was that worth it?
That was amazing. Yeah, that was amazing. That was fucking incredible. Legit caught me by surprise.
You're going into this with fresh eyes.
Yeah,
That's right. Yes.
Legit caught me by surprise. Because again, you've seen I've seen these moments, but never like the full picture. So as you say, like The Rock looking at Vince when he's about to put in the sharpshooter, then it makes you question Big Boss Man's motives because he gets rolled up so quick, the nightstick landing perfectly in The Rock's, so it makes you question the other times he's appeared. So the payoff was definitely worth it. The payoff was so good that it does make you even want to go back and be like, what else did I miss in this thing?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know. All right. But from my perspective, I am looking at this through the lens of I've gone back, I've watched this, I've watched this a few times. The Montreal business, the screw job to me is lame.
Yeah.
Like just the bringing up the Montreal screw job because Vince Russo, that is the toy that he keeps going back to.
Yeah.
When in doubt, break glass, screw job. That's always been his modus operandi, and to me, it's like a year removed from Montreal. It's like, ugh.
And if you see the WCW, his run in WCW, there was a lot of
massacre that was. As for a tournament itself, though, I liked the tournament, so I'm a bit of an opposite end of you. I liked the tournament. I liked the bit of its matches, but the most thing that I liked was The Rock's story arc throughout it, because I got to walk in with knowing how it ends, so looking at all the little things and all the little details and appreciating that. And also seeing from the perspective of the audience member, are they getting sucked in just as much as the intended swerve is supposed to be? And I think that they did a pretty excellent job with that. I may have not liked the idea that it's tuned into Montreal. Had they not mentioned Montreal, had they done a different type of screw job?
Because that's my thing too. If they instead of ending it with the sharpshooter, if he would have just done a rock bottom and it was like a really quick 3 count or something, I think it would have still got the same effect than the sharpshooter. I think the sharpshooter was a little bit too on the nose.
It was, and that's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be really on the nose, and it was just whatever. But the payoff of it being a Rock heel turn, a swerve, joining the corporation becoming a thing now, that to me was worth the sum of its parts to get there. And I ended up very much enjoying the show, the tournament as well. I really enjoyed it, and oddly enough, anything that was outside of the tournament, I liked less. So we are completely opposite, but I absolutely love that. So here we go. The big questions, Jono. I'm going to be throwing them at you. Match of the night, standout star, show grade for our first foray into this pocket of storyline.
Standout star to me is, of course, Mankind. He was phenomenal throughout this whole thing, coming out with the suit, the Al Snow match, even though there was a lot of interference or whatever, it was still a very fun match. The match with Austin, him losing all his fucking clothes and all that shit. The match with The Rock, that was really entertaining, even up to the screw job at the end. So I have him as the standout star in this. Because again, The Rock, we know, is a bona fide star, but Mankind came out of this looking 1,000%, right? Match of the night, fuck, that's a good one. Undertaker Kane. Just kidding. It would have to be either Rock and Mankind or Ken Shamrock and Rock.
You pick one.
I'll go Rock Mankind just because of the swerve at the end.
And the overall show grade, what do you give it out of 5 stars?
3.5. Just because I feel like the brackets kind of like were iffy. It was like it could have been a little bit more polished, but for the time that we were in, it's like whatever. So I'll give it like a 3.5.
All right, lovely.
Now your turn, buddy.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, match of the night for me is actually Shamrock versus The Rock. Yes, I enjoyed that quite a bit. I also loved the Boss Man throwing the nightstick. Had that been even slightly off, it would have looked absolutely stupid. And the recovery just wouldn't have worked. It would have been nonsense. But they pulled that off, and they actually had a pretty decent match. Ken Shamrock didn't kill himself with a Hurricane Rana. What more can you ask for?
It's the little things.
My standout star, I have to agree with you, is Mankind. If mainly for the abuse. But I feel the double turn was very effective. As well as The Rock's story arc in this show, Mankind's story arc is pretty phenomenal as well. Going from everybody in the audience, everybody in the world knows that this man is just a pawn in Vince's game. And Mankind slowly coming to that realization.
Because, like, again, and they even kind of hint to that with the suit. It's like he comes out with the full suit, and it's like he's trying to impress Vince. And by the time the swerve happens, he's in his original Mankind attire.
Very important details. that go along with that Mankind story arc as well. And so I think he played his character very effectively.
Oh my God, yeah.
Furthermore, putting over The Rock as this overcoming hero right up until the swerve, because he took everything that The Rock,
because up to that point, everyone's like, hey, Mankind's aligned with Vince, so everything that he was doing, it's like, damn, Rock has to overcome this and overcome that. And I haven't, Mick Foley, Mankind, he's not one of the wrestlers that I go back and watch a lot, but just watching this tournament, he's less of a just the hardcore guy. Now you see that there's like, hey, no, like he can actually, carry a story and have personality. Because I think, I know for myself, I don't know other people, but for myself, like till this point, it was like he's just a hardcore dude.
Yes,
the guy that came up from the death matches, he lost the ear, lost the tooth, blah blah blah. But I feel like now that I've watched this pay-per-view, it's like, oh wait, no, there's something more there.
Yeah,
it's like he can actually do storylines and have fun matches and do all this shit. It's not just a hardcore legend guy.
Yes, exactly. This was very much a coming out party for Mankind, showing that he could be a very good storyteller.
Yeah.
And that is only going to get added on to as we get on into this storyline in this timeline. So, yeah, Mankind standout star for me. The overall show grade itself, however, I have to go with a 3 out of 5, and that is because the pacing of this show was bonkers.
That was insane.
The pacing of this show was ludicrous, with very little rest time, which would have been okay if the matches were a bit more action heavy.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing about a 1-day tournament.
Yeah,
it's like if you take your time with it, this show's gonna be 4 hours.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're gonna get this where it's like just match after match after
breakneck
match.
Speed, no real video package to speak of any sort, nothing really recapping things too much.
Like I'm not sure if this is a stretch or not, but it like the pacing, not the match qualities, not the people in it, but just the pacing alone felt like a house show.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey,
it's just one thing after another, match.
Like we're just here to entertain you and we're out type of thing.
Right.
Which kind of did get like,
it gets very jarring, and there's only 2 matches outside of the tournament that are palate cleansers.
Yeah. And we didn't even get video packages from they were just random.
Exactly, right?
Matches.
And we had the women's match, which was good, serviceable, but short.
Yeah.
And then we had the train wreck that was the tag match.
Which is like, The Rock gets a break, but also what the fuck are we watching right now?
Exactly, right? So those really knocked down the grade for me. But overall, it was a good tournament to me. This was Vince Russo's piece de resistance. And this is what he could do.
And listen, from a storytelling point of view and knowing what type of person Vince Russo is, which is like, hey, very story driven, like very dramatic stories. Yeah, it's like I can get why they say this is his like all-time work, especially when you see what he did down in WCW. It's like, okay, I see why. Yeah.
So that was the show. That was Deadly Games. Yeah, I want to listen to that in the background right now. The Deadly Game. We thank you for joining us as we begin our journey for Austin's return back to the World Wrestling Federation title. We're going to be moving on. Next week, we're going to have our punishment.
And what would be the next?
The next one, well, I mean, you have thrown me the curveball by having never seen things before. Yes. So what we're going to do, it was going to be the next pay-per-view Rock Bottom. However, we're going to take a side trip now.
Oh.
We're going to go across the pond to the UK, and we are going to look at Capital Carnage 1998. If you thought that this show was bonkers, Capital Carnage is the show for you.
Wait, is that another Vince Russo thing? Or?
Oh, yes, everything is Vince Russo.
This whole thing is Vince Russo?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Vince Russo is doing the booking.
Okay.
But Capital Carnage is their little, like, every couple of year or every year they would do a couple of shows in the UK. And this was one of their last ones as we head in just before Rock Bottom. So
Okay.
a lot of history there, a lot of context, a lot of good stuff. You are going to either love it or hate it, and that is the fun of the Attitude Era.
One more curveball before we end.
Yes.
Should I watch anything leading up to Capital Carnage?
I do. Well, not leading up to Capital Carnage. That's not going to mean anything to you. But doing a show before Rock Bottom might be a good idea for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Doing the Raw is War before Rock Bottom. That would be a good idea.
Okay.
So looking forward to it. We've got a long road ahead of us, but it's going to be so much fun. We thank you all, gentle listeners, for tuning in to this episode of the Colossal Tussle Podcast. We hope you have enjoyed it. Share us around on Facebook, the Twitters, phone a friend. Spread it around. You can follow us on Twitter at
The Colossal Tussle 1. You can follow us on YouTube at The Colossal Tussle as well. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you tweet at us. I'm going to be on there a little bit more frequently, so, let's chat, let's do something. Indeed.
And you can follow us individually on Instagram at
Faraon36. That's Faraon 36.
Look at you. And then you got director KJ. That is D.
You don't have to spell that. Pretty sure they know how to spell director.
Well, all right, John. Okay. You just take all the time. That's fine. God, I'm just trying to help the listeners. The last time. Thank you all so much for joining us.
And if you're listening on Spotify, share us.
Yes.
Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode.
Yes.
Do all
of that
thingies.
Fun stuff. Support independent wrestling. Support us. Support everybody. Be a good person. That sounds good to me.
That's a nice one.
Yes. And we'll tune in next week where we will have the Saturday night's main event, and the following week, the continuation of the Austin Rock Collision course. Yep. Until then, for Just John, I am KJ Johnson, and we are out.